breaks up where those companies where there is enormous corporate consolidation. So food is another one. There are 4 meatpacking companies that have...
I read Fast Food Nation.
Yeah,
It's like really terrible.
So
Yeah,
we haven't,
ConAgra owns
and
everything.
it's only getting worse. And part of the issue, and this is the third thing, is you've got to change the finance or banking laws so that you're incentivizing traditional banking so that people can get loans for their houses and their small businesses. And instead of where trillions of dollars go now, which is the investment banking where they just go to finance debt, they go and finance. There's money out there that to consolidate to get you to buy another company, then and that's easier to get to than money to expand your business.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? And so if you can fix these things, you will start to see a return to competition where there's a ton of companies competing for your business, which means that they are going to go down on price. They're going to try to beat each other on price.
Right. But in Cincinnati, can you think of give me some specific things that
all those things play out here. I mean, because
like I'm thinking about rent, I'm thinking about...
Yeah, so one of the things, if you fix the tax code and you're able to invest in housing, so part of what we have in our plan, it's called our Great American Moment, you can find it online on our website, is a $50 billion housing fund, which would allow every city and community to pull cash down to build new housing, to renovate existing housing, because there's a lot of good housing that just needs to be renovated and put back online or kept online, and that will dramatically increase the number of units or homes, and that will drive down costs.
So we drive down costs for rent, and then
and then
I'm
with
trying
the
to think of some
healthcare,
other...
the other piece of the healthcare, restoring the Medicaid cuts, and then the healthcare piece is if so many more, an increasingly high number of Americans are being pushed out of their employer's healthcare.
Okay.
Right, they're just like think of a Walmart. Like Walmart won't pay any of their employees their health care.
Right.
And so they force those guys to go to either Medicaid, and now because of Trump and congressional Republicans, Ohio's going to have to cut about 500,000 people off Medicaid. And so you're going to have more and more people needing the Affordable Care Act, going to the private, market place, and just like people who get their insurance through employers, they need their employer to help. Like I don't pay all of my health insurance.
Right.
If you get health insurance through your employer pays a big chunk of it. Well, we, as a community, if we have all these people who are getting private insurance through the marketplace, but they needed a couple $100s to pay for it, then we should provide that so that they can get their insurance.
Got it. Yeah, got it. Okay, so I'm going to just switch gears. So when I taught government for a few years. And
which grade?
Seniors.
High school. Okay.
High school. I teach high school. Yeah. And I taught in 2010 when Citizens United became legal. I remember, passed the Supreme Court. Yeah. I remember talking to the kids about, super PACs and PACs and lobbyists and how all of those things work. What do you do to combat the billions of dollars that come in from corporations that really take away the power of the people? Yeah,
one, I don't take corporate PAC money, and that's a pledge I've made.
But there's just PACs too, right? Like there's corporate PAC money, and then there's other PACs.
Yeah, labor organizations have a PAC, but it's it's.
I know, because I read through your Open Secrets.
Yeah, it's my it's like it's the steelworkers, and it's different than because they're just representing the workers.
Right.
I think it's the corporate PAC issue that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
And one, so you don't take it, and it sends a signal both to your voters that you're going to vote with them, and it sends a note to the corporate PACs in DC. They know, they can ask for a meeting, but they're in the back of the line.
Right.
Right. Like my voters come first.
Right.
Two, we have to ban dark money. So the Supreme Court said that based on the current law, that these people could do whatever they wanted, and so that they now just spend. We don't even know the number because it's secret. Billions of dollars going in and influencing elections. And so you can ban what's called dark money, but Congress has to do it. And that's in the John Lewis for the People's Act. So that is arguably the most important thing that outside of the economy and keeping people safe, passing the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is the most important thing we're going to do in the majority.
Tell me about the John Lewis Voting Act.
Does three things. It ends voter suppression.
Okay.
It bans dark money, and it ends partisan gerrymandering.
Okay.
It is the fix to our democracy.
Okay. All right.
The biggest issue that we face in this country, in my opinion, is the hyper concentration of power and wealth. So over the course of several decades, power and wealth have gone up, just up, and that wealth and power comes from us. And you do it through voter suppression. That's less power. Partisan gerrymandering, you have less power. Dark money, you have less power. With the tax stuff and the corporate consolidation, you have less wealth. And so all that wealth and power is concentrated at the top. And so you're going to have to use the tax code.
It doesn't trickle down.
No, in fact, it trickles up. Most of the time when you have these profits, most of these companies take their profits and they invest a little bit in their workers or in their company, but most of the money goes back up through stock buybacks.
Yeah.
It goes back to paying off their corporate investors, and they'll say, well, they have to do that in order to attract investors. But if you're profitable, people are going to give you money. What's happened is that people in Wall Street are expecting enormous returns. They're expecting to become billionaires.
They do get them. They get the returns. Yeah, absolutely.
And Congress has allowed it for decades.
Yeah. I'm going to point it out just because everyone in my group wants to know, and I'll just point it out and then we can just move on. But AIPAC has given, I think, every congressman, and I got this from AIPAC's YouTube. I watched all these videos, $100,000 to every congressperson.
So there's so many
okay,
conspiracies.
but I'm just going to tell you that's what AIPAC said on its website.
No, because they can only. So AIPAC,
they had a little short. It was a little video.
I don't know all I can tell you is this: AIPAC is it's a PAC, and it's an organization that's focused on the U.S.-Israel relations, and they can only give $10,000 to $5,000 in the primary, $10,000 in the general. That's all they can give to every candidate. They have this network of people that also support these issues, and these are friends of mine. They're here in Cincinnati. I'll go and to another city and I'll do an event.
But you do understand why people are upset, right? Do you see why people are upset?
I understand, on the internet, there's a lot of misinformation. I understand, why there's...
Well, I went to AIPAC. I went to their YouTube and I watched their YouTube videos. I don't have my notes with me, but...
They can't...
Yeah.
There's no way... They're not allowed to...
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you're going to have to show me, because there's probably wasn't there... There's so much on there that isn't true, is my only point. So you have just Jewish people.
Well, it was also bragging about the fiscal year 2026, the National Defense Authorization Act. Maybe. That banned the United Nations Red Cross workers. So those are some things that
I get why people are upset about Middle East.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Middle East policy stuff is very complicated. I mean, I've been working on it
for government, so yeah, I know.
20, 30 years. I've spent more time in the region than most members of Congress, and it's not just in Israel; it's in Jordan and Egypt, and with all these other,
it's a
partners.
very complex region.
It's super complicated. I'm committed to sort of moving in a direction where we get to peace. It's going to take some time, but I do believe that the relationship between us and our allies, writ large, is really important, and so. If there are people who support me because of my commitment to Ukraine, but no one calls that out.
Right.
They call out this one, which but it's.
If there's another vote on Iran, there
was a war powers vote. So when we voted on Iran, it was what I voted for. My vote wasn't going to matter.
Was it strategic?
Yeah, it was just so Iran has. Enriched uranium underground. They were building back up a weapon shield so they could get in there and get the enriched uranium. I don't want that. And so it was 1,600 targets, naval, missile, rockets, right, just to destroy the weapon shield. And then you have options. But
that was what you were focused on.
That's it.
Okay.
That was it. And so we put forward a resolution that says every president has 60 days, but this president only has 30 because he can't be trusted.
True.
Same with Hegseth. And quite frankly, the 1,600 targets, that's only a couple weeks. It takes a while for that to ripen, and the speaker has been messing with my resolution. We're going to be able to vote on it on Thursday at the 60-day mark. But on the 30-day mark, a couple weeks ago, I voted for the War Powers Resolution. Any War Powers Resolution after 30 days has my support.
Okay.
But it still wasn't enough votes. Like, we need to get Republicans to vote with us, and I think we'll get a couple. I mean,
well, it really seems like they're gearing up for a war, right? You've got the selective service thing in December.
They said at the 60-day mark they would change their opinion. So we're going to put my War Powers resolution on the floor at the 60-day mark because he should have been done.
What's the 60-day mark?
Thursday.
Thursday next week?
Yeah.
Okay, I can barely think past Sunday, so we're good on that. Okay, so that was
but I understand all the issues around that.
I mean,
totally
they wanted to ask in not nice ways.
It's one of those. Everyone can email me at greglandsman1@gmail.com. And I'm happy to, answer questions, or we can have another one of these. It's super complicated, the Iran thing in particular, because on one hand, this is a huge threat. On the other hand, Trump is the most corrupt, most untrustworthy. Yeah, he is the swamp. And he had, as a commander-in-chief, he has failed so dramatically. You have the following three responsibilities when you have a military operation like this. You have to communicate it effectively. He failed dramatically to do that.
Zero strategy?
Well, the strategy was beyond the weapon shield. The second thing is you have to build a coalition, and he didn't do any of that. In fact, he was adversarial with our allies. And then three, when the military operation that you said you were doing is over, you have to be done, and he won't be done. So they were going to stop the blockade. Remember, they stopped the blockade a couple of days ago, and he wouldn't stop the blockade?
Yeah, by the time I watched the video, something else had changed. And first of all, I mean, like I said, I taught government. I remember doing this, and the first thing I thought was the Strait of Hormuz, and how would you not think that is going to happen? So let's see. I've got a question about ICE, and then I've got a question about digital surveillance. So which one do you want to do first?
ICE.
ICE. Okay. So as just a human being, what I have witnessed recently is just a trampling of constitutional rights, but more importantly, just basic human dignity, like how we treat people. The idea of taking a child away from a parent, I can't. I mean, that's literally one of the things when I created Coffee Compassion Action, I thought, like, what goes to the core of everything that is happening? And that is where I got community, which is coffee, compassion, and then you put that into action. So do you think we should abolish ICE? What should we do about, the Border Patrol?
You need to have
DHS, another one, that are using surveillance on American citizens in ways that are wholly inappropriate and absolutely unconstitutional.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, until there's comprehensive fixes to DHS, to ICE and Border Patrol, they don't get a single dollar. And we've stood our ground on that.
Don't they have a vote coming up about that? I feel like I heard something about that.
Yeah, they have a reconciliation bill where they're going to try to do it without our votes.
Right. And how do you get past that? How do you prevent them from doing that?
You take back the House and you reverse the.
It'll take years.
Because we laid out the changes that we're asking for are very straightforward. We want them to get an actual warrant.
Oh, yes.
No more roving patrols. Like, if there's somebody who is a criminal and needs to be apprehended, you got to work with local police to go get that person with your warrant.
You can't just show up at a construction site.
Correct. You have to wear a body camera, like everyone else in law enforcement.
Name tag?
You gotta.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, the badge number is the thing that matters most.
A badge number, okay.
Yeah, because some of these people, if we don't have many, but if there's a run with our cops and it's somebody who's really dangerous, they will say, here's my badge number. But if the person doesn't end up getting convicted and they're back on the street and they see him at Target, that they don't want to have to deal with that. So the badge number is what matters the most.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you have to identify yourself. And all of those are changes that they just rejected. So
I just don't want to get in a place where it's normal or normalized to see, basically soldiers walking the street.
I think that I 100%.
Yeah.
Democrats in the majority do have to fix this. Otherwise, we're going to keep having these guys, which means you have to have meaningful border patrol. Part of that is tightening up the asylum process so that people who are really seeking asylum get asylum, and those who are not go into a different line, which is working. And if you want to come here to work, there has to be a work permit. There needs to be comprehensive immigration reform, which means those people who have been here working, no issues, they have to have a pathway to get documented so that they can live free from all kinds of issues and then be on the path to citizenship. Those are all things that most Americans support, but we have to do the hard work of getting it through the House and the Senate. And whether the president signs it or not, we need the next president of the United States to do it. But we have to be leading on really good comprehensive immigration reform.
Yeah, well, and I think I think Department of Homeland Security needs revisions, and then I remember when it was created. I taught government then. That was around 9/11,
Yeah,
and that was
immigration enforcement is one thing. What they're doing is totally different.
Right.
Immigration enforcement is so basic. It's because our cops will get a call and they'll say there's somebody down the street. We don't think they're here legally, and they are beating up their girlfriend. And so what they do is we'll call immigration enforcement, and they'll say we'll go over there with you. But it's our city, so we're going to knock on the door. But if you need to take the person, that's not us. Right. And
okay.
Our cop is there to say yes. There is reason to believe that this person is beating up his girlfriend. Then they go to court. They see a judge. The judge says, "Yeah, you got to get out of here. That's too much." And it's usually people from the immigrant communities like, "We want this guy out."
Right.
And then it gets handed over to an immigration enforcement person. That's how basic it was, and that's how basic it needs to be. They decided to make this army, and then just rove into these, like causing chaos and mayhem, and they created a legitimate public safety issue. In Minneapolis, the people of Minneapolis stood their ground and changed the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, there's not support for what they're doing anywhere in this country.
Yeah. And you said something that made me think of a question, and I've already forgotten it. So I'll move on, and if I remember it, I'll ask you again. So this one is about Palantir, which the idea that you name your company after a crystal ball that is so dark.
Is that what Palantir means?
Yeah, it comes from Lord of the Rings. It's Lord of the Rings, and it's like this globe that can tell you where anything is. And so Alex, and it's dark. I think Sauron owns it or has it, and I don't know Lord of the Rings. Is it Lord of the Rings? Or am I saying Lord of the Rings? So anyway, that's what Palantir is. And there's Flock. Graphite is a part of Paragon Solutions, which does digital surveillance. And then there's Celebrite, and oh my gosh, what's the other one? It's like Gray something. And that one is very scary because it can hack into your phone. It only hacks it, and it's a contract that the U.S. government has. And I'm pretty sure it's Celebrite that the U.S. government has a contract with. We do have a contract. The Department of Defense has a contract with Palantir, and these are terrifying. Not for just anybody, but just to be a narcissist for me, right? And for the people that are in my group, they do track who we are. They collect this data. Palantir is a terrible company. And Alex Karp just released his little...
CEO?
He's the CEO. Oh my gosh, you don't know about him? You need to watch a video. He does not know how a chair works. He's just moving all over the place.
Chairs are hard.
Chairs are hard. It's a company that does digital surveillance, the United States Department of Defense.
I just didn't know the CEO. So Congress, this is one of the reasons why
my question was going to be, what are you going to do to prevent this?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why you want all your politicians to commit to not taking corporate PAC money. There shouldn't be any sort of let me check in with Alex at Palantir.
Right.
Two, this is where you need really strong, tough leaders. Congress has to stand up to these companies, social media, AI, big tech in general and say, here are the rules. You can't. We're going to reinstitute privacy in this country. We're going to protect our kids. We're going to require all of these, you guys to follow these rules. And if you don't, people can sue you. This is the biggest issue. So many of these companies are protected from litigation. And that litigation shield is what keeps them in a position.
And that litigation is, if it's posted on the platform, then they don't get in trouble. Is that the litigation?
Yeah. So they don't want to go to court. And so they've sort of bought their way out of court through their politicians. And so you need politicians who are unbought. This would come through our committee, Energy and Commerce, and it's one of the reasons why I joined Energy and Commerce, is to take on big tech, AI, social media, healthcare companies, pharmaceutical companies, because they're the ones who, to your point, have this power that can end up doing an enormous amount of harm. And this is where government has to play a huge role in protecting people.
So you're on Energy and Commerce. So that means you're going to help us out with data centers, because I got to tell you, I don't want data centers here. Like, Ohio is a beautiful, beautiful state. My granddaughter always calls it the green when we're driving far. She's like, oh my gosh, we're in the green, like, because everything's green around us. She is kind of cute for a 16-year-old. So yeah, well, the 10-year-old there is just gonna walk right through. So yeah, I mean, we have deep concerns about. I mean, I am going to be signing some petitions tomorrow just for that, and not even like we're going to have the ecology department of they just defunded it.
So let me tell you what we're doing.
But yeah, even
so we've been leading on this. We have the leading bill on AI data centers. It's called Do No Harm Data Centers. It would require the data center to pay for everything. They can't do NDAs. There is all of this, requirement that whatever, if there's anything in, they do all the remediation.
But it still allows it to be built in Ohio.
Yeah, it's still that. Yeah, but only around these rules. You're gonna need a moratorium. Wouldn't work, because it's not just AI. The data centers are like managing half all the things you plug in here.
Right, but also one of the reasons why they're built, they're like dotted all over the United States, not just Ohio, but one of the reasons why is because those digital surveillance companies have to be able to contain all that data, process it, and keep it. So it's not just that Google wants more data centers or that Amazon wants more data centers. It really is.
Most households have on average 20 to 30 things plugged in that use the data centers.
Right.
The challenge for us is
they're so terrible for the environment.
Yeah. So what I think you have to do is say it's going to happen, but they have to pay for everything. They have to pay for all their electricity. They have to pay for no one else's electricity should go up. That they pay for any additional usage or costs. They have to pay for all their water. They have to pay for the remediation. Meaning when they leave,
but
they have to.
But there's still like all the pollution that they create.
Yeah.
Like in Seattle, the Google data center, like I can't remember the name of the water that was around it, but it's
but they have to remediate. So all that they have to be in.
So when you say remediate, like they make the mess and then they clean up the mess?
Well, you have to ensure that you're not polluting, but with the PFAS, it's a PFAS-like.
What's PFAS?
Chemical. PFAS is the stuff that firefighters use so that it's not, they don't catch on fire.
Okay.
And so these data centers are so hot, they use something similar. It's not good. And so you want to keep it out of the soil. And for the most part, they do. But if there's anything in the soil, they have to take it out.
And how do they find that? Because,
they'd be responsible for testing with federal agencies.
And then it's the Environmental Protection Agency. That's what I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
But they have defunded that. They have, crippled that.
Yeah.
So you have to fix the EPA before, and then give them some kind of teeth, because that's the other problem with the EPA is they have no
Our bill
enforcement.
gives them that teeth. They can find these companies,
lots and lots of money.
A day,
yeah. Well, that's a big worry, right? Because I
don't think there's
Ohio's
a bill
a beautiful state.
other than a moratorium, which I don't think will work. There are two things that won't work: a moratorium because the country they're going to want their devices to work. but I also think that what they're doing currently is not going to work because communities are going to say, no, you can't come in.
Right.
There needs to be a federal standard
Yeah, I
that
could agree with that.
protects everybody, that protects you from, in terms of paying more and from pollution. And it protects our workers.
Is there anything to protect small farmers? Because they're coming in and buying cash, land, and those, like, that should be the heart and soul of Ohio, is the farmer.
Yeah, I mean, some of these farmers want to be able to, they want to be able to sell that land and make money off of it. You know, the issue I have is that they're currently getting tax cuts to do this. These are billion-dollar companies, and Ohio's giving them tax cuts. They shouldn't get any money.
Well, there's a reason why Vivek loaned him $22 million, you know, when he's only going to make $177,000 as a governor. There's some definitely some dark motives underneath all of that.
That is just straight up corruption.
Yeah. Is there anything else that's super key that you want to tell anyone that's going to watch this video, or
just,
you know, because I got to page 20-ish in your documents. I didn't read the whole thing, so
you haven't finished it.
I didn't finish it. I was at school. I was teaching. You know, and those kids.
The second half is the best.
Yeah. Tell me what's in the second half. I don't remember because I didn't read it. I got through.
It's a comprehensive plan.
Okay, one thing I thought and I was very, very appreciative of is a $30 living wage. Tell me more about that.
The only way to get to a better economy is if people can pay their bills.
100%.
These are all people. These are people who are working. So you got to get the living wage up. You got to get the wage up to a living wage, and $15 is not even close.
No, it is not.
It's 30.
Right.
Now, in the meantime, one of the things that we're proposing in this plan, and then we're actually going to introduce it, is a billionaire minimum tax the folks at the top, and then provide that to working folks in a refundable monthly payment so that they can pay all their bills.
So with that refundable monthly payment, that's not a tax relief thing. That is coming from the taxes that the corporation pays.
So that we're saying, look, the folks at the top, they got to pay all their taxes, and we're going to use that money, some of it, to provide a tax cut for working people who are struggling to pay their bills. But instead of saying, look, you get a tax cut at the end of the year, we're going to make it refundable and monthly, meaning every month you get a couple $100 additional.
So kind of like what happened in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And it will help them pay their bills.
Right. And then what about healthcare? Not healthcare. What about childcare?
I mean, in there is the childcare. I know
you did the preschool promise, and I thought that was a really good program.
Yeah, preschool and childcare should be entirely paid for, but everyone needs help, and so this is why you got to fix the tax code. Right now, we don't have money. They've spent trillions and trillions of dollars on these tax cuts for the super wealthy. That's why there's so much wealth at the top. But if you move the corporate tax rate back to where it was,
what was the corporate tax rate before?
35. It's at 21 now. And there's I'm going to do a video on this next week, but there's 100+ companies that didn't pay any of it. They paid zero because in this new bill, they allowed all the companies to write off all of their capital investments. And so they took all their capital investments and they ended up getting paying $0 in corporate in income taxes. So it wasn't 21, it was 0. It needs to be, 28, 30, 35, but it can't be 21 or 0. That means that Tesla paid 0 last year.
P&G paid 0.
P&G didn't pay any. Did they? Is that true? Anyway, I'll go look. But
I got it from a Bernie Sanders video.
Okay. Anyways, they that would surprise me, but it doesn't. Point is, I
stole it from Bernie.
You got to fix the tax code, get these folks paying all their taxes, and that would allow you to invest in childcare, healthcare, housing.
Would the $30 minimum wage be federal?
Yeah, you'd have to do it federal.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that would really help people out. Definitely, you could afford apartments in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's everything. Greg, it was great to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for this.
Yeah, absolutely. You're very welcome.